It's been nearly 2 years and 3,000 hours of print time since we unboxed our Bambu Labs P1S printer, and honestly it's completely changed the way that we look at 3D printing. Here's what we learned in our journey. The reliability of the printer has been absolutely outstanding. We have had absolutely zero mechanical faults. Any issues that we have run into with the printer have been purely user error. Things such as not cleaning the build plate or storing our filaments correctly. But the machine itself has had zero errors. The self-leveling bed almost feels like cheating compared to our Ender 3s. Now, we've actually built an Etsy shop with our printer, which is something we've covered in a short previous video. For us, it was a good way to cover the cost of the printer and also buy supplies such as more filaments, build plates and so on. The design is super compact and clean and looks great in most setups. We love the black aesthetic of the P1S over the silver of the X1 Carbon. Being fairly compact, it doesn't absolutely dominate your desk space. We built a small workstation around our printer, which has a small craft mat, a SCADIS board with some organisation for all of our tools, etc., which are items that we used for post-production to clean up any prints and so on. The AMS system is great for multicoloured prints, allowing you to use 4 colours simultaneously, and the printer will handle all of the swapping of colours, etc. And even when you are loading the AMS system, it uses an RFID system which will automatically read the type of filament that you've inserted into the AMS. Having the RFID system is an absolute breeze when it comes to swapping out your filament. Talking of filaments, Bambu Labs filament lineup has grown massively over the last 12 to 24 months. They offer just about any other colour you can imagine, as well as various material types. Buying the filaments direct from Bambu Labs gives you the RFID chips that you will need for the AMS, as well as going to a source that you can trust for your filament. You can purchase tons of accessories for the printer, such as different size nozzles and various build plates. We quite like the Super Tack plate for great adhesion, but they also offer things like carbon effect and so on. Bambu offer a wide variety of spare parts for the printer in terms of maintenance. This means that you'll be able to keep your printer up and running at all times. Now, we admit it's not all perfect. The P1S is quite noisy and does unfortunately shake our desk a fair amount. Now, our desk is 3 meters long and is literally bolted to the wall, but the P1S does still transfer these vibrations through the desk. We've used a rubber mat as well as a paving slab to try and eliminate some of this vibration, however it's still not great. This isn't really the printer's fault, as most 3D printers will cause these sorts of vibrations, but we'd highly recommend placing your printer away from your main desk, or even better, in a separate room where possible. A slight limitation on the P1S printer is the build plate size. Being 256 by 256 by 256, it is a relatively smaller area in comparison to some of its competitors in the same price point. Just bear this in mind when shopping for your printer and try and consider the types of prints that you will be producing. It's not really been a problem for us, but we have heard many people say on forums and so on that to them it is too small. Something we have also noticed is there's lots of fine plastic particles that build up inside the chamber of the printer. You sometimes get small bits of filament poop as well, which land on the build plate or just in the bottom of the chamber from where the AMS is changing colour, and it doesn't quite drop the leftover filament down the chute correctly. It's nothing crazy and it's nothing that can't be solved with a little bit of housekeeping and cleaning out the printer. However, sometimes these debris can fall into your print and cause small defects or problems. Now, the Bambu Labs software is brilliant. Having the Bambu Handy app on your phone as well as on your desktop has been great. The slicer works awesome as well. However, the software has been our biggest issue with Bambu Labs. It just seems that every time there's a firmware update, we have an issue with the printer. I admit they're often quickly resolved. However, the biggest one being is the Wi-Fi connectivity. Whenever we do a firmware update, it seems to kill the Wi-Fi connection, meaning we have to go into our Wi-Fi settings and change to 2.4 gigahertz, reconnect the printer, and then reconnect to a 5 gigahertz network. It's nothing crazy, it takes 5 minutes to do, but every time we update the printer, we seem to have to repeat this process. And after 2 years, it has become a bit of a headache. Now, after thousands of hours of printing, the Bambu Labs P1S has been absolutely rock solid, and we'd highly recommend this printer. At the time of filming this video, Bambu has literally just announced the P2S, which is the updated version of our printer here. We'd highly recommend going and having a look at some videos on the P2S and doing some research, as it's a no-brainer to upgrade to that one, given its solid price point and feature-rich additions on top of the P1S. Now, if you're on the fence, I'd say go for it. Our printer has been a tool to not only make money, be a hobby, and have some fun, while also covering the cost of itself multiple times over. This is something I couldn't have ever imagined using our Ender 3s. I saw those as more of a toy, whereas the Bambu Labs printer has shown me the true potential of 3D printing.